Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sierra Vista City Council for 11 June 2020. I'll call the meeting. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Mayor Rick Mueller.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray. Present. Councilmember William Benning.
Present.
Councilmember Gwen Calhoun.
Present.
Councilmember Sarah Pacheco.
Present.
Councilmember Carolyn Humphrey.
Present.
Councilmember Christine Wolf.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Before we go, Benning Williams, Mr. Benning has asked for appointed personal privilege. Would you like to address this, please?
Mayor, thank you. I know Mr. Mayor brought it up during a work session on Tuesday, but I'd like to publicly, before we start the council meeting, to do a quick moment of silence for the Escobar family. For those who don't know him, Frank Jr. was a friend of mine. He passed away about a year ago. His and her husband, council member. So, like, one, out of respect, of course, who's done so much for Sierra Vista, if we just take a moment and remember them and thank them for what they did. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Benning. On the invocation and pledge, we're privileged not to have the invocation led by Pastor Greg Rowell of the God is Good. We follow by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Humphrey.
With me. Father God, it's in the name of you right now. I ask your blessing, Father, upon the mayor, the city council members, all our head department leaders right now, God. Give them wisdom, lead and guide, protect and keep them, Father, at this place, their homes and their personal lives. God, we pray for the city of Sierra Vista right now. We pray, Father, you would keep us safe. We're going through a troubling time right now, Lord, but we look to you, that we be a people of united as one, going past else right now. Lord, help us to stand, Father, as a people that would love and have compassion and understanding toward one another. God, right now we curse this virus right now, what it's done to us. Touch those who are sick and down and out. Restore their health. For those, Father, who've lost their life right now, bless their, give them strength to continue to go on right now. We lift up the state of Arizona to you right now, Lord, and we thank you, Father, for the state of Arizona, Lord, has not been that bad. We thank you for the blessings. Use our leaders right now to do the right thing as they serve us, the people. Be done underhanded for any selfish reasons, right, God, but to always before you, for us, the people, that this may thrive and grow. Bless the small business owners right now. That's the dealings that they have to deal with right now also, Lord. And we'll make sure we give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge my allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Mr. And thank you, Ms. Humphrey. We now move to item 1. Ms. Pacheco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the agenda for the regular city council June 11th, 2020 be approved as written. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Propose that we remove item 5, and the reason I'm proposing that is because I had most of you saw the email from the clerk. She and I talked today, and basically she's going to need some time to basically ensure that we have one. First section deals with the regulatory commission. Second section deals with the regular commissions, and so that we have no confusion between the two, because of the way it's written now, it might not be easily digestible, I'll put it that way, and understandable for those who read that. And since she's the one who's responsible for maintaining that document, I think it's appropriate. So may I get a
second
discussion? Oh, I ask for a motion to remove.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to remove item 5.
And we have a second?
second.
And I'll just know that it's scheduled to be back on 2 weeks. So she says she can get it done in that quick time, so I really appreciate that. So any question? Seeing none, I'll call the question to amend the agenda. All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Now I would ask for another motion to accept the agenda as amended.
I so move.
Do I have a second? Any further discussion? The question, all those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support on that. We now move to the city manager report. Mr. Potijek.
Thank you, Mayor Mueller, members of the council. A number of items. First, our budget sessions begin next week on Tuesday, the 16th, p.m. Here in the council chambers. And if necessary, meetings are scheduled again for the 17th and 18th, Wednesday and Thursday, also at 3 p.m. here in the council chambers. Budget season, I have news regarding the sales tax revenues for May, which have been of considerable interest given the budget situation. HERF revenues for May were $239,000, which was the lowest monthly amount since November of 2016. So it's $93,000 less than our July through April monthly average of $332,000. So clearly people were not driving here much in the state during that time, which is understandable. So hopefully that number will start picking up. Actually, although this isn't great news, it's a lot better news than I thought it was going to be. April transaction privilege taxes were down 50,000 April, which is pretty similar to the loss experienced in March. I was originally thinking that April's would be worse. Turns out they weren't, so we may bounce back our local economy better than I was hoping. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there in those numbers, but certainly better news than anticipated. Our within that, our hotel and restaurant and bar taxes were the biggest hits, which is expected. But our actual retail sales tax revenue up. So, and I don't think there's any surprise about that, given everything that was going on as well. So, overall, much better report than expected, and hopefully that will continue to improve as we move along. We also have news regarding the DBG Small Business Grant Program. Mr. Boone and Mr. Klein received 24 business applications during the process while it was open. There were 14 others that did not qualify or follow through with the application process. So 24 did. 9 qualified as micro enterprises, requesting a total amount of $66,050, and then there were 4 that qualified as special economic development, and their request totaled $40,000. So total requests out of the 120,000 council set for this program were $106,050, so leaving about 13,500 left. We did have 3 business owners withdraw during the process, and 1 did not complete the application after they were self-certified. We do have an issue in that 7 of the applicants already received PPP funds from the feds, so we have to make a determination as to whether to qualify, but we have to determine, since they already received funding, whether it's appropriate to give out the CDBG funds to them. So we're still working on that. Also, the first $9,000 check was cut to the United Way for the social portion of the program, and I don't have any statistics yet on that, but I will share those with you as we move along. Regarding coronavirus, another thing obviously that's impacting us, and I just got the latest numbers here. So we now have 165 confirmed cases on the county site, 82 recoveries, 5 deaths, unfortunately. So there are now 78 active cases. And again, many of those cases are occurring in the Douglas area right now, which is them, but it's also the area where testing has been more focused here recently. So we're still seeing an uptick in those numbers. This afternoon, did hold another press conference with regards to things occurring statewide, mostly focusing on the hospital issues that have been in the news, and he clarified that there was adequate capacity in hospitals at this point in time around the state, but he did seem to be concerned about cases and percentages, and did not give an indication as to moving into phase 2 yet, the reopening process. So we're still under phase 1, and the city will be as well. With regards to that, we will start again with our gradual reopening process. We'll be opening the transit building on Monday the 15th, and I'm afraid the free ride is over, folks, so fares will again be charged starting on the 15th. But we're happy to be able to that service for free during this time, but they will now need to start collecting fares again. City Hall lobby will be reopened, Ethel Berger Center, OYCC virus, but because there is a project going on in the lobby right now, so that lobby will be open as soon as that project is done. And then we will be opening the Cove to lap swimming also on Monday as well. So a number of things will start occurring. Again, we'll be opening on a gradual basis given the situation both statewide and here in Cochise County. Finally, we'll be releasing our website and our Facebook page tomorrow a podcast featuring Chief Adam Thrasher, and he'll be talking about a number of things, all things policing, the 23-minute long cast, but please tune if you have the opportunity so you can learn more about our police department. And that's all I have tonight.
Oh, and how's that being advertised? We don't have her.
I don't have, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just now advertising it, let's put it that way.
Okay, so obviously we need to get it out on the electronic media.
Yes, we do.
Et cetera.
So,
Okay. That was the point. Okay. Chief, you know how she's putting it out, did you?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Any other questions for Mr. on his report? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just quick, Mr. Petuchik. Retail sales, is that including internet sales yet, or does that not include that yet?
Actually, I do have a number. It does include both including and excluding retail sales. We're up 125,000, included online sales, 12% increase over last April. The actual online sales tax revenues were up $76,000. So online sales. So online sales tax is a big help since that's been instituted.
Outstanding. And then the next question, real quick, just the bathrooms, because some of us are getting asked about the bathrooms in the park.
One of the restroom buildings is open.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Petuchik.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Petuchik, so we're still then confident with those numbers that the budget, keeping everything flat from here to next year will remain?
I'm more confident today than I was yesterday. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, I feel pretty good, much better about the numbers.
Thank
now.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What happened? You said there were 7 businesses that already received money from the federal government or the PPP. Yeah. So if we don't award money to them, where does it go?
13,000 that's left. I think we have a couple of different choices that we'll be looking at to recommend to you. Obviously, reopen the program for just that $13,000 if we wanted to extend that program out to businesses and then re-advertise. It's a small amount of money to do that with. The other is reprogram that to the social service side, as well. There's a couple different options. If I more data about the social service money, I would feel better about making a recommendation. But I think it's best probably to hold off until we see what all those numbers and how the program is working first.
Yeah.
But I will certainly let you know.
That does sound good. But I want to know and end up I don't know.
It'll come back,
We can repurpose
it'll
it
come
if we
back
have.
for us, there'll be a recommendation from staff on reprogramming it, and it'll be a council decision, just like it was a council decision prior.
And then one more thing. The podcast, I know you don't, did you say it's going to be on the website when it launches? Where
Our
does
website and our Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
And it'll be launched tomorrow, yes.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Is that, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? I do have a question, Chuck. And my understanding is we still have not received the money for the business portion of the loan. And we finally had had a breakthrough with talking directly to the feds rather than working through the individual at the state with HUD. And I guess there was some type of computer glitch that has been straightened out. Very short, should be receiving the funding. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Today, so I feel pretty comfortable tomorrow in asking the staff to start sending the money out to the businesses. So we'll be fronting it out of funds, but I'm confident about getting that reimbursed now.
Okay, good. And I know that was a hiccup in the system for us to know it, the public to know that as well.
And you're referring to the CDBG.
DGB cares money, indeed. Okay. Any other questions from Mr. Pertuchik on his report? Thank you very much, Mr. Pertuchik, and everybody else. This item is a hearing item. I would say if there's anybody in the public who wants to address this item, we have forms on the wall by the door that you can pick up, and once the presentation is done, you'll be able to address this for 5 minutes. And then we'll move on to council discussion. So, Mr. Felix, please land a public hearing on land use options and infrastructure plan for the updated development fees. Mr. Felix.
Correct. Mayor, members of council, no action is needed today on this. State law requires you to have a public hearing on the land use assumptions and the infrastructure improvement plan before you vote on it, at least 30 days after the public hearing. It has been on the website. There's been no comments received so far on it. Just quickly go over the two and follow through. Again, 3 of the 4 impact fee funds are using a buy-in. The police department, the police impact fee, the fire impact fee, and the park impact fee, because we built it expecting based on actions of greater growth time. Growth did not occur, so there is still capacity available. So the subdivisions were expected to have gone in the past 5 years will now still be buying into it. The future infrastructure development fee is looking at the future approach. There is one program lane mile, there'll be half lane mile coming up. That is because that fund was not, we did not bond off of that fund yet, so there's no negative balance and there's no excess capacity for that fund. The fire facilities infrastructure improvement plan.
Thank you. In the report, there was there was a third incremental extension, and I just was curious why that never gets included as an option for.
Because as the fees sit right now, it's not really an option for us. We have excess capacity for the 3 funds, and they had some significantly negative fund balance. Borrowing from the capital improvements fund for the bonds to construct the facilities, and the level of service for the future growth, which is why we use that infrastructure improvement plan, is because we're looking at the roads that we built for that. The third one really doesn't apply to how we currently use them. It may, once these 3 funds are paid in full, we may look at using that for any one of the 3. But as we sit right now in our situation, it really doesn't apply as an option for either one of any of these funds.
Okay, thanks.
The components of the fire infrastructure plan are the buy-in for the Fire Station 3 and the apparatus tower, the big ladder truck that we have. For the Parks Infrastructure Improvement Plan, it is $3.1 million, most of which is Sears Center Park. For the police, it is basically the police station expansion that occurred when we, a couple years back, as you guys remember, we expanded the police station pretty significantly due to the constraints that were happening at the time. Plan is half lane mile and one section. Doesn't seem like much, but when you realize it's half a section, and you will come back in 3 years, depending on the development that occurs on the next 3 years, we can always update it at that time and extra lane miles if it looks like development will occur. A key point in this one is we have 10 years to spend the money from when we start to collect it. If it is not spent, it must be refunded to the developer if we have not spent the money or not started the project it is done for. Currently, Community Developments expects that this would be the extension of BST to the east. That, of course, is subject to change, and it's also why we label as 1 lane mile and don't put a specific street, because that gives ability to the council on where it can be used depending on what development actually occurs between now and then we review the study again. So here's the summary of the total costs, remaining costs, and what's attributable to new growth. The consultant has looked at the history that we've been seeing recently, looked at the market, looked at what they expect to be happening. We know housing is still actually going pretty strong despite the COVID situation in town and what the developers currently are looking at doing. So this is their plan of right now. Again, when we update the plan, this is looked at every time we update the plan. So we are required to look at it within 5 years. We strive for 3. This has taken quite a while and it will take a year to get through this fun process. We will look at it at least in 4 years, and we can update the figures depending on what is happening at that time. Here's the timeline. Today is the public hearing on this. 23rd, you will vote on these things. Again, any member of the public, or they can speak at the council meeting on these items. The 27th, there will be public on the proposed fees. The public can speak on the fees at that time. On the 8th of October, you will first vote on the proposed. The public can speak at that one as well. And since we're looking at going to 100% fees, if you approve that, next item you would vote on is reducing the current construction sales tax from 2.45% to 1.95% to bring it in line with the regular sales tax, which is a requirement by state law. And then you would vote on that, assuming you pass the first one, and to allow developers time and the Department of Revenue time to implement all of these. We are scheduling the proposed fees to go into effect on January 1, 2021. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, before we go there, I'm going to open it up to the public. I haven't received any tweets from the public wanting to address this item. If you want to address us on this item, I would ask you to come forward, please. No one coming forward to address us on this. I'll close this item to the public. Questions for Felix? Sir, ma'am.
I don't think I've ever been called sir. So first of all, presentation without the birds. So thank you for that.
We liked the birds.
No, we did not like the birds. And secondly, just for the public's benefit, can you just explain, like, we do have a moratorium on the fees right now.
Correct.
What will happen come July 1st?
July 1st, the moratorium is expiring on the current fees that are in place during the downturn, and when the budget times are being tough, we did put a moratorium on them. They will come back on July 1. There will be the 75%, not the 100%. The sales tax differential is still in effect. So until the new fees go into effect, the current fees that were passed about 5-6 years ago will be in place.
Thank you, David.
Any other questions for David? And I'm sure we're going to do this again at least once more time. Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Felix. We'll now move on to excuse me a minute. I believe it's item number 3.
Yes, sir.
It's Ms. Wolf. Sorry.
Yes, sir. No, that's okay. I get, forgotten a lot. It's okay.
I couldn't find my my paper. That's the problem. More forgotten. I just couldn't find my paper. There it is.
Oh, I'm remembered. Mr. Mayor, I move that Resolution 2020-029, designation of David Felix as the authorized agent for the Arizona Department of Emergency and Medical Affairs reimbursements be approved.
Second.
It's been seconded. Felix, may we adjourn your company once again?
Members of council, this is simply an administrative matter that needs to be taken care of. FEMA and DEMA, as it's called, require the city council name the authorized agent. Currently, by statute, the city manager has the authority to designate that. They do not find that acceptable in their books, so this is simply a bookkeeping for any of the FEMA or DEMA activities. Currently, that would be the COVID-19 items that we are trying to get reimbursed for the we can, and as well as for the Arizona CARES Act, which is obviously a lot more meaningful to us at this point. To answer any questions you may have.
Questions, Mr. Felix? Okay. Seeing none, I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Felix. We now move on to item number 4, Mrs. Calhoun.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the City Council regular meeting minutes of May 28th, 2020.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, corrections, comments from council on the meeting minutes for 28th May? Seeing none, I'll call for all those in favor. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now will pass over the removed item on to 6. Ms. Humphrey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2020-031, an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Sierra Vista and Cochise County Sheriff's Office and the Community College District to operate the Southeastern Arizona Law Enforcement Training Academy be approved.
It's been Chief Thrasher, may we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is essentially a renewal of the intergovernmental agreement we've had with Cochise and the Cochise County Sheriff's Office to operate the academy at the College of Douglas. We have operated 3 academy classes so far, and this allows us to assign a recruit training officer to the academy to help with the training, and also provide instructors for generalized classes as well. It allows for the college to reimburse up to $10,000 per class for the overtime. It does provide 3 academy slots at no cost to the department. We do have 3 recruits hired and ready to go to the July class, and so this will cover 2 classes, July and January. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief, and it's essentially the same agreement we had originally.
It is the same agreement, yes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chief, how many recruits have we had go through the 3 classes?
We've had 4. Unfortunately, they were all in one class, depending on the hiring stream, but we've still been providing the training down there with them to make sure that this is a successful academy through the state, that we have it available to us.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Chief Thrasher, again, just for the public's benefit, I remember us talking about it last year, and if you can just remind us again the cost differential between people who attend this one versus.
Right now, I have to remember the numbers, but significantly less. About for us, because we're providing a recruit training officer and getting free classes, it's about $12,000 to $13,000 per recruit cheaper to do it this way.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do have one.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Chief Thrasher, I just want to note that even though it is cheaper, we are not in any way sacrificing any type of quality in education and training.
That's correct. It's if they follow the Arizona Post guidelines and outlines, and to be honest with you, we're able to actually influence the training by being part of providing the training. Absolutely.
To say.
Standing.
Yes.
Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now move on to call the public. This is the part of the meeting where member of the public that would like to address the city council for minutes on any subject can do so. I would ask you again to fill out the form. I don't have any current forms. Is there anybody that would like to address the council tonight? Sir, if I could have you grab a form and the clerk, who's back, she's back there, and ask you to come to the podium. You can fill the form out later if you would, sir. All we need is your name and address. Guaranteed. And if you come to the podium and the clerk is right back again, if you can give it, we appreciate it.
Hi.
And
Yeah,
you have 5 minutes. There's a lights here that hopefully we're operating. I guess we will. Once you start speaking, it'll be yellow and red. 5 minutes, I'll ask you to conclude it.
You don't have to worry about it.
It's a bureaucratic system. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's my first time here. My name is Joseph Patterson. I'm an emergency room physician, currently semi-retired. And my wife and I, we've been residents 35 plus years. We've raised our family, our kids, and love Sierra Vista. It's really a community. It's very different. And we have thought about moving, living other places, maybe more exciting entertainment, things like that. But we, every time right around this, we are left with the impression that what a special place this is. And it's a treasure, and few people, in a way, we're glad. Selfish. Love it here. First time I've been to one of these meetings, and I want to say that I want to thank you for your service. Much of it goes unrecognized, and primary reason in being here is that I feel compelled to say thank you to our heroes, how we take them for granted. Sorry. When I think about it, emergency room physician, I've worked with the police for years, and it's been a great relationship. Such responsible, dedicated people, out to serve, out to protect, getting rich, out of duty, of love. In a time where police were just revered. I mean, such respect for their people, such commitment to duty, and always putting their lives on the line. One minute to the next, whether this could be the minute. Quick decisions. Working in the emergency room, I think decisions that we make quickly, lives are dependent upon them, and many times, often, those decisions were not the best. But we accept the fact that we're humans, we're out to help people, to serve people. That people will forgive our imperfections. I think we all understand the situation we're in these days. It's a critical time in our history. And I want this air of uncertainty, and when you walk around, it's kind of like there's a cloud overshadowing everything. The joy and the spontaneity and worry and fear that was there is gone now. And it does, at this time that we recognize that we stand up as a community and support our police. They're there to protect us. They care about us. Let's not judge them. Let's not tie their hands. Let's not make them feel guilty. Us. These are honorable people whose intentions are good. I love this community, and I came out today because this is so important, and I thank you for your time. I'll fill out my form.
Thank you for your full comments. We really appreciate. I think most of us feel the same way. Unique community. One of the reasons we're a unique community is because we have citizens who care, like yourself, and we have great police and fire, which protect everybody. So thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I'll close the call to the public. We need comments and requests of council. Tonight we start with Mr. Benning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have to follow that. I have to say thank you for. I don't know on the soapbox. I think say things that are happening, but I love the community. So far, the last week, I have been saddened, disappointed, and upset with my community. Not in public, not where I go, but on social media. The hate is crazy. We need to stop as Sierra Vistans as and think about what we say. Just because I'm behind the screen don't mean I can put my brothers and sisters down. Just because I'm behind a computer don't mean those words hurt and leave in our community that is coming together as one. It has to be together as one on both sides. You hear people on every side. You hear people say we have to hear each other, but it goes more than hearing each other. We have to start listening to each other. So instead of coming up with why you're not something or why you are something, take a minute and listen and understand someone else's perspectives. But God, on social media, because all you're doing is bringing everyone down. You're making people, like the young man said, you're hazed when you walk down the street now, because is that the guy that just was the worst thing since blank, blank, blank? Or is that the lady that thinks I'm this because I said something? Take a minute, remember who we are. We have the most diverse community I've ever lived in almost 50 years. And I love it here. This is only for more than 3 years. That's how much I love it here. But we have to respect each other no matter what. Respect comes first. And if we don't start talking and listening, we ain't going nowhere. So I love you, Vista. Just make sure the right thing on social media also. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Benning. Ms. Humphrey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I prepared a statement. So I'm going a bit longer than I usually do. I'll just hand this to you for the record, because it's a lot for me. And I want to start by saying what an honor and privilege it is to see, especially as we face local, state, and national challenges that require collaboration and informed leadership. Whether those challenges be novel, like the spread of COVID-19, or widespread and continuous, like the near constant reports of police brutality, excessive force that has led to the recent deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and numerous other individuals who have died at those who swore to protect them. My heart goes out to their families, friends, and communities. What happened to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor is inexcusable, and as a country, we need to and better, because as a nation, we are better. During our last council meeting, I resisted the urge to speak on any of this at all, mainly because at that time I felt what I really needed to do was listen and learn. I have held the belief that the Sierra Vista Police Department is and should serve as a model to other police departments. After the past couple weeks, I have had that belief reaffirmed. There have been a number of events here in Sierra Vista, online and in the streets, and I am grateful and proud of our community in exercising to assemble and march. I am also incredibly proud of our involvement in these activities by our mayor and council, police department, local businesses, and community partners at the NAACP. I am tremendously thankful to Chief, who not only continues to be an exemplary leader and took the time to answer all council's questions in a timely and professional manner, and to also write a column that addresses and validates the pain, shares in the responsibility of his fellow officers, demands better, and informs their community what steps they have taken and will continue to take to cement your trust in the column he titled, "We Must Be Better." I am also grateful to council members procedures. Whether or not I agree that changes need to be made to our current policy, I find right now the council's willingness to open up dialogue and hold a work session on the matter is completely appropriate and honorable. Because even though we say that's not the city, that's not our department that did those horrible things, we are still in a position as Americans to own and address the underlying cause of George Floyd's death and lack of justice. And for us on council and in the city, this means an opportunity to carefully listen and consider ways to, Chief Thrasher said, be better. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mrs. Pacheco.
Okay, so much to say and think, or
Follow
things
that,
that have been
yeah.
said. No, follow in it. Thanks, everybody, for all your comments, and I feel like anything that I said would be an echo of what has been said. I participated and joined protests who walked over 3 miles in 95-degree heat from the mall to the police station last week, and that event made me so proud of and so proud of our police force who joined in that march, who walked alongside, who laughed and joked and high-fived along the way, and then businesses who handed out water and snacks. I mean, there were so many stops that we were very well hydrated the whole way. But then at the end, hundreds of people on the lawn in front of this building. There was no violence or there was no unrest. There was just peace. People sat or lay down, face down, or prayed together for silence. It was very, very powerful. So after walking for 3.5 miles in the heat and chanting and yelling, people gathered silent for 10 minutes. And that was such a display of a united purpose and cause, but also respect. And the people who silently sat and demanded better were our police members here, our own members of the force. I felt like that was powerful. Also, thank you, Chief, for that and for speaking up. And I think that it's good practice in any profession. If someone makes a stupid PR move or marketing move, I'm in marketing professionally, and so when we see something like that on the other side of the world or country, even though it's not our marketing that did it, it's not us, we have a powwow as a department, like, hey, could we prevent happening here? Like, could we prevent those? It's just good professional practice to use executive of, misconduct, professional misconduct of any kind, and also, and especially in a profession like policing where it's people's lives and our community's integrity on the line. It's good professional to conduct a review when we see things going wrong, and that is the practice that we have in my office, just in marketing and reviewing mistakes other people's make and making changes and making sure that we don't do that here. Anyways, so I'm grateful and proud. I know there's ugliness online, and I've seen it too, and I've been disappointed by that myself, but don't read the comments. Turn it off. Too. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Pacheco. We now move to Councilwoman Wolf.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am actually going to echo a lot of the words that have already been said, but I'm going to do it with my own. That is acceptable if you guys can indulge me. I think this is going to be one of the few meetings that maybe our comments and requests of the council are longer than our actual meeting. And I apologize for
That could be.
So, like Karen, I also wrote down my words. I would like to start and say, absence of compassion and empathy in our country right now. This absence has manifested itself in Minneapolis, Louisville, Annapolis, and other large cities. At the time of this writing, and I actually wrote this on June 1st, so I wrote this 10 days ago and have thought on this for a very long time. I have not seen, and still have not seen, the governor respond with any meaningful dialogue about what has occurred. He's finally stated that the inciting incident was tragic, decrying in words from the state the injustice and of George Floyd. In fact, I have seen very little from our state leaders speaking about this murder at all. However, to that end, I have seen a lot. I've seen a lot from our local community. I have heard words from our mayor, Rick Mueller, stating that this was a horrific. I have heard other council members speaking out. I have listened to our local chapter of NAA. It was horrible, and then it cannot be done again. And almost more importantly to me, I have heard our local police department speaking out, especially Chief Fisher, stating his disgust of police brutality, and he has made that known through the paper and through other forums. I especially commend Chief Thrasher in continuing to give council information regarding police training and to be able to willing to have more conversations about how we can make our wonderful community an even better community, because it is conversations that are worthy to have and that we should be having right now. For me, I want to say that I unequivocally deplore the actions and police brutality throughout the nations, and I unequivocally deplore what happened to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and others. I am tired and I am sick that our sisters are losing their children and husbands to police brutality. I am tired and I am sick, angry at protesters of murder than that the murder itself occurred. I am tired and sick that we as a nation have allowed these injustices to continue for decades. And I say no more. Time for silence is over. We need to demand justice and accountability from every level of government, and that includes us. We need to speak up and we need to scream systematic racism and oppression is not what America stands for, but mostly we need to stop hating and fearing those that are different from us. If we don't stop the hate, I am fearful for all of our children. We need to accept that some people have never been treated fairly, accept that some people have always had to live in fear, and we need to accept that if we do not speak up against injustice, that we are part of the problem. And I say enough, that it's not okay, that we need to change. And I am begging, let's start now, and let's start a conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wolf. We'll next move on to Calhoun.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too wrote a statement and would like to say it now. I first would like to thank Spencer Couturier and Sierra Clay for organizing successful marches and events for Black Lives Matter last Friday and Saturday. I also want to thank all the people who supported the marches, those opportunities to express their outrage at the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others. Although we are removed physically from the sites of those murders, we are not removed emotionally, and we are very sensitive to the need to support to a nationwide system that change a nationwide system that allows and condones those heinous murders. I say allows because not enough has been done to change the nationwide system and the culture that has permitted these acts for far too long. There are many who do not understand the actions that have taken place over the last few weeks. Many who confuse the criminal acts of a few with the peaceful and righteous acts of thousands and prefer to dwell on the criminal acts. There are some who prefer to think and mistakenly think that because the call is to recognize that Black Lives Matter means that it's not recognized that all lives matter. For these reasons, I encourage people to begin meaningful conversations with each other, make efforts action to help change the way men and women are viewed in America, to change the way people of color are treated, not only by law enforcement, but also by neighbors, business owners, strangers on the street, those in power in our country. If you are invited to conversations on racial equality, attend with an open heart and a willingness to listen to each other. Make a concerted effort to educate yourself on issues related to social justice. Now is the time for each one of us to make a personal effort to support social change. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Gwen.
I also will give a copy to Maria, make it easier for her to document it.
We'll move on to Mayor Pro Tem Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, Dr. for your words, and I agree with the sentiment. To me, there's no better than Sierra Vista, Arizona. So thank you for that. I would also echo many of the words we've heard here today, and Councilmember Humphrey, that was so beautiful for that. I was talking with people this weekend as the marches and things were going on, and some people expressed surprise to me that they were as peaceful as they were, and I continually said to people, I expect less from Sierra Vista, and I was not surprised. I was everything that happened was exactly what I expected out of our city, and for that I am very grateful. I'm also, as along with everyone else, Chief Thrasher, you and thank you so much for your involvement and for your leadership during this. So with that being said, I also would like to just quickly, I attended, Mr. Kennedy passed away, who was a member for the airport and Environmental Affairs Commission, and just like to give our condolences and thank him for his service to our community. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. A lot to think about tonight, the comments of council. I appreciate elegant words from everybody that felt concerns, and we look forward to working together. I think I can say community look forward to working together with each other to make our community better. And piece by piece, we'll get the city, the county, the state, and hopefully the country. Eventually, it's going to take time, and we just need to be determined in our efforts to be able to do that. So thank you for your comments. I just want to end on just remind everybody that Father's Day is coming up, so take your old dad if you have the opportunity. It's a little late, okay? So please do that. Seeing no other business before council. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah, you sure do.